Isn't it interesting? I was thinking today how many double digits, but how many 1111s have gone by in our entire lives where it was just another day. It's just like 1110 or 1112. But when did the true meaning of 1111 come into your life? Is what I was thinking today. And I think it's been, some time. It's been some time that it's meant something, but it also was most of my life. It didn't mean anything. It was, it was cool. It was like 1010 or 77 or whatever, but I wasn't at the place yet where the double digits or especially 11 meant anything. But let's see. On 11/11/11, I was in Argentina with Kryon and Sid and Peggy Dubrow and a number of other people, and we were doing a big event there. And I had my first Lemurian Sisterhood meeting on 11/11/11 in Argentina. And that's just something you can't ever imagine is going to happen. It just happens. So today it's 13 years since that meeting, right? Am I doing the math right? Yeah, 13 years since my real first Lemurian Sisterhood sacred circle, and it was in Spanish, a language that I don't speak. But evidently, Spirit had a plan and everything fell into place, and it was really wonderful. Really wonderful. I had a great translator and a lovely women, and yeah, so that was the beginning really of the Lemurian Sisterhood. So I always celebrate the 11/11 by that particular one. And I'm sure I knew about 11/11 before that, but it didn't really have that much of a deal to me. But the reason that I wanted to do this meeting on this date was because it feels like another new beginning for me. And maybe in another 13 years, I'll be going, oh, yeah, that was the night that 11/11/24 that I introduced We Are the Next Lemuria. So, we ready to get going? Let's get going. I'd like to start with just a little meditation and a little invitation. Let's take a minute to gather our energy from the day, from the weekend, from everything that's been happening in these past couple months, whatever country you're in. So let's just breathe in and exhale a big cleansing breath. Let's do that a couple more times. One more. And let's do one big humming Om. So take a big breath in. And as you exhale, exhale through your nose with your lips together and make it sound like Om in your own head. Just feel how that clears your mind, clears your thinking brain, and just let you be more present. And we invite the star mothers, the star fathers, the star beings, the dragons of Mu, to come be with us, be around us, and help create this sacred circle, this time of leaping forward, leaping timelines as we really have an opportunity to create our future in this beautiful time of the next Lemuria. Thank you. And when you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Yeah. Thank you. So, namaste, ciao, aloha, everyone. Thank you for joining me. I'm going to wear these just so I can see you. And as I said earlier, I have been, since this information started to come through, I've been, I don't think excited is even the right word, definitely excited, but the scope of the information that the star mothers, fathers, and beings continue to download, it's sort of like a faucet has been turned on. So I want to share that with you because it's so wonderful, beautiful, and hopeful. And, there isn't anyone in my country that doesn't know what we've just gone through or may continue to go through. And everyone's country with all of the things that are going on in the world. So, the world is changing really fast, and we're just trying to keep our balance. But the good news is we can take our fate and our destinies into our own hands and our own hearts. We don't have to be at the effect of that stuff out there. It's always good to be informed and be aware, but not to let it affect us so that we have a troubled heart or a troubled mind. And right now, I mean, I all you have to do is look online anywhere, and you see so many wonderful teachers and sages and channelers to help us through the transition into the light. And I loved what somebody wrote the other day that after our election, they said, we're not going back into the darkness. This is the transition. So you can understand how they felt about the election, but it is the transition and it's the birthing process. So we can't just listen, though. We need to act, and we need to change how we actually influence our own lives. And so what the next Lemuria is about is a way that you and I can create a new future for ourselves and support each other as we do, because we know we really need this community. We know, if you've been following my work, and those of you that are here that have, you know how rich that is to have that community and to be able to reach out to each other outside of our meetings, outside of my work, and build on that community. And that is what's really going to help us. So the Star Mothers have shown me our past, as many of you know, that with my Akashic Awakening, I got a good look at that, and that's been my mission ever since then. But they've also shown me, okay, this is the present, and here's what we have for the future. And from that, I've asked them to show me more, like what can we do with your loving wisdom and teachings and instruction for the next Lemuria, the return to the garden, the new humanity. Now, some of you may not remember Lemuria, some of you may. For some of you, if it's your first time here, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you all for coming and being a part of this community and trusting that what I give you is from my heart and soul. And we will explore this time of transition together and how we relate through the Star Mother's teaching to the future of light that is today's humanity and the next humanity. We'll be able to reactivate the deeper mystical teachings that we received in Mu and bring our world, ourselves, and then rippling out from there, our world back into balance. All that might happen on its own over time, of an era of time, but probably it would be a compelling time of suffering on Earth for the humans and the animals and the Earth herself. So maybe we can just use what we know and who we are and the teachings that are available to us to not do that. Let's make our own fate and our own destiny. So in this next Lemuria, what we'll be talking about is who we are as a consciously evolved being, obviously. And I will be talking about I want to tell you tonight a little bit about the final days in Lemuria. Many of you know, if you've read the book, The Women of Lemuria, that came out in 2018, that book is based on all the channels that Kryon did to the Lemurian Sisterhood meetings, at the Lemurian Sisterhood meetings between 2014, when he gave me my name, Meleha, till 2018. And then Monica Morani put it all together in this book. So that tells us history. That tells us history of Lemuria and how it was formed with the Star Mothers. Well, since then, what the Star Mothers have told me, and it was a lot for me to wrap my brain around. So let me help you get this in the way that it was given to me. So we know we have a blueprint, a template, and light codes, and all of that will be following. But I want to begin with this energetic matrix that they showed me. And it's like a massive light weaving of strands of light, of whatever color you see, whatever they give you, and that there's a universal one that takes in our entire universe. So as now that we have those great cameras that go out into space, we can really see how much that is. So there's that. And we, each one of us, are attached to that matrix energetically. And then we have our galactic matrix. So we're attached to that. And we know the different star systems and star clusters and different galaxies like Andromeda that are in there. And then we have our solar system. So, we're going from universe to our solar system and then to our planet with our little moon. So imagine that each one of these graduated in size systems has an energy matrix that is a communication system. And the star mothers and fathers and beings, so we're talking other beings beside Pleiadians, they're very aware of what's going on here because we affect that matrix, and they can watch it, they can feel it, really feel how the energy shifts and the vibration shifts. And when it was time to plant the consciousness of a divine human on our planet, they could tell by that energetic matrix, and they came to Lemuria and started all that 200,000 years ago. And of course, before that, they had been to the crystalline nodes and the energetic nodes, the 12 nodes of the earth, of the planet, and dropped their time capsules in there to be awakened in the future. So in the future for them was prior to our 200,000 years. Now, fast forward 2012 and the great shift, is time to prepare for the next Lemuria and what was going to happen when we all went from the Piscean age into the Aquarian age. And, I'm old enough that we've been singing about the dawning of the age of Aquarius since I was in high school. But it's here and it's now. And I'm actually getting chills in my legs as I say that because, when you wait for something most of your life and you think maybe it will never come, and then it's here. So here it is. So as we look more into what does that mean and what was the actual fall of Lemuria, because that has been conceptualized in many different ways. And I want to just say up front that my way of talking about Lemuria is from my own experience and the experience of the information from Kryon. I was with Kryon and Lee Carroll for 10 years on the road, listening to those channelings every weekend. So it woke up a lot of memories for me. It's not something I made up or read in a book. And I'm sure that some of you here tonight have had that, maybe all of you. But anyway, my my actual feeling about the fall of Lemuria wasn't that, there was this amazing energy there and we were bad and we mishandled it. And so the whole place blew up. That for me kind of goes back to the Roman period of Christianity when Adam and Eve were bad and they got kicked out of the Garden of Eden because they did bad things. And, God said, don't do this, and they did it. So that was sort of what the fall of Lemuria and Atlantis are based on, because we have that Garden of Eden encoded in us. That's how we got here, was through that portal. And so when we flip that paradigm and look at Lemuria as the Garden of Eden, actually was the Garden of Eden, and that there were problem solving people there were medicine people, there were teachers there, they were living on the land, they were taking care of each other, they knew what they were doing, they weren't just trying to get by. They were an old civilization, and that's why the Pleiadians chose them. They actually did a very nice asking. Are you ready for this? And before they came and intermingled with them and created the divine human, which with Pleiadian DNA. So that in itself is a whole different look at the beginning and the ending of Lemuria. And that Lemuria did not fall, that it was time for the energy to shift. The Star Mothers knew before they ever got here, or there in the continent of Mu, that it wasn't going to last forever. I mean, how can it? There's nothing on this planet that's ever lasted forever, except maybe mosquitoes. I'm sure they've been here the whole time. So it was their plan, and they, did what they had to do really in a compressed way, so that when the geology of Mu changed to Hawaii and people left, that they had teachings that would stay with them, stay in them forever, just forever, no matter how many lifetimes you had, no matter where you ended up on the planet. And for some of us, we had awakenings in lifetimes that had us burned at the stake or fed to the lions or whatever it was. Not good, because the planet wasn't ready for that. It was in the age of darkness, right? The Kali Yuga, the age of darkness. And so as we have really gone further with our understanding of that, we know that there are ages, just like that we had the dinosaur age and we had the ice age. So there are ages of consciousness also. And just as a little aside, one of the reasons that we're also into something called Lemurian crystals and always looking for Lemurian crystals, I have a class on my website that is Create Your Own Lemurian Crystals. Maybe, Jenny, could you put the link in about that? It's in one of the teachings of the Star Mothers series, foundational teachings of the Star Mothers. But Lemurian crystals were not from Lemuria. Lemuria did not have crystals. It had volcanic matter that solidified, and that's what walls were made out of and tools were made out of. There were not crystals there. However, there were crystals on the planet. We know that there are a lot in Brazil, there's a lot in Arkansas, in this country. There are different mineral deposits all over. And maybe 4 or 5 years, oh no, longer than that ago. Funny how time does that. Quite some time ago, when we had a Kryon Summer Light Conference in Arkansas, one of the things that Kryon said during a channeling at the crystal mine was that what a Lemurian crystal is a crystal that was exposed to the consciousness of the Pleiadian teachings while they were here on Earth. So as we know, there are a lot of geological disruptions. And if you only have to look at the side of a mountain and see all the striations to think one time it was this way and now it's this way. So crystal beds were exposed and crystal beds were buried, just like every other mineral, everything. And so when the Pleiadians were here in that 200,000 year range, there were a certain amount of crystal beds that were exposed to the consciousness of the Pleiadians. But also, the star mothers have given us directions to make our own. So, the fall of Lemuria wasn't because there were bad people there using crystal consciousness in the wrong way. In my way of knowing, or the way of knowing that I've learned, have been taught, have remembered. And Lemuria represented a time in humanity where we were expanding our consciousness like it has never happened until now. So as the energy shifted, and the Star Mothers knew it would, and they knew it was time, everyone had already learned celestial navigation, so they knew they could leave. And they also knew not everybody would leave. They knew that it wasn't going to sink completely. And as we witness of Hawaii, it's still there. And so some of us stayed, most of us left. And so what did that mean for the rest of the world, the consciousness of the rest of the world, as this spiritual energy, unlike anything that had ever had a season or ever had an era of, gets scattered across the world? I think for the most part, what it brought was people's fear, because they had been living in a not spiritual human way. But here we are now. And the star mothers, the star fathers, and the star beings, their role is to bring balance back and give us guidance about how to get through these pivotal times. So it won't be, this next Lemuria won't be, you're just going to listen to people's channels and everything will be fine. It's a good thing, and it's great, and the energy is wonderful, but we also have to do things. We have to actually practice things. We all do. And you know that if you just try to go to the gym once, you're not going to, do what you go to the gym for. You're probably just going to get sore and hope you never have to go back. But anything that we really want to embody to make a change in ourself, in our consciousness, we have to practice. So that's what I'll be bringing to you in this program, The Next Lemuria. And I'm really excited about that, because the star mothers bring through things that I don't know or I don't remember. And like the whole thing with that big matrix thing, that did not come from this mind. I am not scientific. I don't think in quantum theory, but they brought me there, and then it made sense to me. But they also want us to learn about the blueprint of humanity. And we talk about soul groups a lot, and we know that it was a great, I think, people like Michael Newton brought through this understanding of, we have soul groups that some of us touch lives once and some of us, come back again and again, but that we do have a blueprint and a template for our humanity, and that is our DNA code. And when we look at, some people are really activated by light codes, by light language, by the oral light language, or visual, or drawing it. That is all a part of this new Lemuria, is having that expand. So I had a whole story, was that I'm not an artist. I couldn't draw light codes. And then about, probably February was my first drawing. A wonderful friend of mine who takes art classes all the time inspired me to look into some art. And I started doing something called neurographica. Yeah. And it's really woken up that part of me that can bring through the light codes in these drawings. And I am not an artist. I cannot even draw a stick figure, but this comes through. I'm just saying that because more of us will be finding ways to express that as we continue to practice what it is we need to practice to shift our vibration from 3D to 4D to 5D and become more crystalline. So as we, check into that blueprint for a new humanity, the Star Mothers will really deepen our role about how we can balance the masculine and feminine. And that is right now, the divine feminine is having a huge, and in this country, angry resurgence of feminine voices. And that's not going away, but it's not balanced either. So, and I get it. I understand it. And I really appreciate the women who are speaking out and making changes. But really, when we go to that extreme, we'll come back to the middle. And I am planning to live long enough for that happening to be part of my life. So creating that balance gives us more of a choice. We're not pushing against something. We're not wanting it to be different. We're living it differently. So we'll have, lessons on deeper unity and compassion and living consciously and how we self-honor. And if we self-honor, that's really one good place that you can start in this moment and take with you when you leave this video. Self-honoring. That is relevant for today because we're not going to get to that place of balance without practicing, and I mean practicing self-honoring. Like, what can I do today to love myself the most? Is it cancel a lunch with a friend, or is it, something, whatever? And when that voice starts to drive who you are, you're really getting into that place of not just self-honoring, but listening to the voice that is stepping away from who we are as sort of mechanized. Like, my child is the best child in the third grade, or whatever that is. That competition, we go into individuation. And we start seeing and feeling ourselves and living as individuals. And we can embody our own gifts. And they will be honored because we're finding them and we're honoring them. We're not trying to do what other people are doing. I know in my world, there are so many other, as I said earlier, sages and channelers and teachers. And there are so many that I love and respect, but I've learned to not want to be them or even be like them because I know they're speaking to people who can hear them just like I am. And, that you will when you begin to embody what your gifts are. And that's a lot of what the next Lemuria will focus on because we need those communities of people who can say, yeah, go see this one or try to practice that. Or, we have a beautiful chat on Lemurian Sisterhood Global Facebook page that's called Moon Cycle Femme Power. And Lisa is on here, who is the chat admin, and she does all of the moon phases. And I thank you so much for that, Lisa. But that's a really beautiful community. They were just having a chat in there about, should I sleep with this crystal under my pillow? Or should I, whatever. And so people sort of chime in on their experiences with that. And so that really, as a collective, we really need that. We need people we can talk to like that, even if we, I would never ask my next door neighbor that question, but here they are, here is our community. So we're, with the internet, able to evolve that, and then we can prepare for the new Lemuria. One of the first teachings of the Star Mothers was community, unity, community, or come to unity, however you want to say it. And then second was compassion. So as this vibration shifts, and this is the really exciting part, we go from, when we say we go from third dimension to fourth dimension to fifth dimension, that's one thing. This is what they're telling me is how it's happening. So I had to look this up on Google after they told me this. We're going from being carbon based, which it vaguely somewhere in the back of my mind I probably learned in high school, uh, but we are 18% carbon. I didn't know that. But what's happening as we evolve is that we become more crystalline because crystals also are carbon based. And if you look inside of the ones that are, I have this nice little one here because it's got a crystal growing inside of it. And I'm sure you have many that are like that. Um, that they're always growing, they're always expanding, and they're becoming more crystalline and less carbon. So that's what's happening to us. That's the good news, my people. And as we do that, vibrations affect us more. So I'm very sensitive, always have been to vibrations. I'm sure that's why I lived in the woods a lot, why I don't go to big, crazy shopping places. Um, I'm really sensitive to vibrations. But on the good side, there are vibrations like this. There are bowls, there are crystals, there's music now that is, attuned to different hertz. And that's how we're going to shift is by what vibrations we let in and what we put out, of course. But everything, even this little wooden thing, is held together by vibrations. We know a stone even has a vibration. It just moves really slowly. So our vibrations are faster because we're more liquid. And so as we become more crystalline and we leave part of that carbon behind, we have to really use our awareness to connect with what is a good vibration for us and what isn't. And maybe sometimes you could go to a crazy shopping place and it's okay. And other days you just go, no, I am laying under a tree or listening to music or whatever it is. But we'll go more deeply into different ways, different practical steps that we can integrate the advanced teachings of higher vibrations and how we can anchor those into us so we don't have to keep doing it all the time. Doesn't that sound good? There is definitely practice, but there is definitely anchoring. And then, of course, as we look at all of this happening and we find out what is our role in the next Lemuria, do we know? What are our gifts? What have we said no to or been afraid to do, or we've done it because we needed money and it really, we don't love it. So how do we move past that? And that's one of my favorite subjects because, we've all grown up in the world of you got to make a living with dollars. You are who you are, what you produce. And that's how we identify ourselves. We meet somebody and say, what do you do for work? It's not like, hey, what's your vibration? I know it used to be, what's your sign? What astrology are you? But now it's going to be, what's your vibration? And when your vibration increases and you become more attuned with that, you won't even have to ask. You'll know whether or not you want to, walk the other way. And I know many of you already know this, but the anchoring of that so that it's not, I remember going into a grocery store in Prague in the Czech Republic after a day of teaching there and channeling and translating and all that. And I was like, not really in my body. And even though I couldn't understand what people were talking about in the grocery store, the energy was like, ah. And I just had to say, I'm going to wait outside because I needed to do that. So self-honoring. And I've had to really be aware of that through my life. And those people who are your friends that will really be with you and honor you will be okay with that if you have to cancel something or if you have to, you make a phone a friend. You have to talk to someone about what you're going through. That's your real community. And also, that's what we form here in the Lemurian Sisterhood global community. We form that kind of community that we are there for each other. And not everybody has to agree about everything. Not everyone has to, have the same idea of what happened in Lemuria as I do. That doesn't matter to me. What matters is that you're filled with self-love and self-compassion, that you can use the gifts that you came here to use, and that you can help create a new Lemuria, the next Lemuria, the future of humanity. And as you begin to take this adventure, you have crystalline remembrances, because every life is stored in the DNA that you're still carrying. And so there are things that will help bring that back. There's certain body movements, and there's certain supportive activities and ways star mothers will help us. I know sometimes it sounds like science fiction, but it's been my life for a lot of years now. And honestly, why wouldn't it be okay if we're really moving towards the next Lemuria? And I feel like we are. It feels like, what else could possibly be next? So we're going from humanity to spiritual humanity, and the experiment continues and goes into a greater world. And I'm really excited to bring this to you. I'll be probably telling some stories about Lemuria and how it was when I was there, depending on the star mothers, fathers, and beings, and what is I'm told to bring through, because their higher frequencies will increase ours, and they know who we are, they know what we're doing, and they know what to bring through when. Yeah, so that was fun for me. I hope it was fun for you. I'd like to, if you'd like to have me answer a question, you can type it in the chat. Jenny's going to be looking at that and telling me when somebody does. So I'm planning on this being a 4-part, I think, series that'll take no more than 6 months. It's kind of funny. My first big thing was the shamanic teaching wheel after COVID and not traveling, and that was 2 years. And then this year, the Dragons of Mu will be 10 months, and then the next one's going to be 6 months. But I'm promised there will be more. So, who has a question in our little audience?
Missy was asking, how can we find our galactic his ancestry and where we come from? Yeah.
Well, it depends on what really resonates with you, Missy. And I always ask myself this question, and I have to lead that off by saying, for those of you that don't know, I'm a double Taurus with a Capricorn moon. So, as amazing and far out as all this stuff is, if it isn't really helping me in my everyday life, then why? So, I would ask you to ask yourself, how will that help you knowing that? And if it feels like it will help, and maybe it will, I'm not saying that it wouldn't. I just, ask that question. Don't just let your mind churn out questions. So it's one after another after another. And then when that question happens, it's because I firmly believe this Star Mother teaching, and they keep teaching it again and again, is that the question comes because you have a remembrance. And it's underneath a lot of layers of old patterns and old conditioning and many, many lifetimes ago, and you already know the answer. So maybe you need to do some journaling or automatic writing. Maybe you need to listen to some music or sit under a tree and just ask to have that answer come through. And it may not come the minute that you want it. I find when my mind isn't talking to me, and one of the times where this is strange but true. Between my front door and the time I get to my car and I'm getting in and doing all that stuff, I'm not thinking. I'm in automatic mode, right? You lock the door, you have your key, you open the key, open the door, you put on the seatbelt, you stick in the, that's automatic. And sometimes this whole download, not huge, but will come in that moment because I'm not thinking. I'm just being on automatic pilot, brain not engaged, patterns engaged in this very simple feat of engineering out of the house and into the car. So it could happen at a time like that you get a download or an aha. And I may be on my way to an appointment and going to be late, but I stop and write it down because you think you'll remember. You don't remember. I don't remember. Like dreams, I'll remember that. No. So that would be my advice. First of all, ask yourself, is it just your questioning mind or is it going to be helpful for you to know? Maybe it's going to be helpful. And then try to find that answer because it's already in there waiting or out there waiting for you to say, hey, what's the answer here? I hope that helps. And
We
thanks for your question.
we have Diane.
Uh,
She wants to know, is there anything special we should do since it's 11/11?
well, yeah, of course, there's something special you should do. It's a really good day for intentions. It's a really good day for gratitude. It's a really good day. And since we're going into the, shortening in the northern hemisphere here of days, it's a really good time to spend, if your day is still viable in your day, to spend time going into that place of what do I want to use? Where do I want to create this winter while I'm doing, shorter days and more contracted time on our planet? And what do I want to do in my cave of creation? What do I want to create that can be birthed in the spring?
Then
Thanks for that.
we have somebody who wants to know when the live meetings will be for the, we are the next Lemurian course. And then I don't think you mentioned when the course actually starts.
I didn't, did I?
Mm.
When does the course start, Jenny?
February 1st.
Okay, thank you. And what day of the week time will the live meetings be? Tracy, thanks for asking that. That has yet to be determined. We've always done live meetings. I want to do things a little differently now. I'm going to be, and this is a good place to announce this, I'm going to be doing live meetings that don't have to do with this course on the Lemurian Sisterhood Global Group Facebook page because we have 8,000 women that have come there looking for more information about Lemuria. And we don't actually talk about it on that page. They just come there because of the name. So I'm going to start offering that on a monthly basis. We'll have a live chat. People can ask questions. I prefer if they write them. They're going to have to write them, right, Jenny? Because it'll be on
Probably,
Facebook Live.
yes.
Yeah, they're going to have to, and I can respond. There'll probably be channels, but for this course, there will be live meetings. But I want to make sure that if you're not in this course, you still have an opportunity to be a part of the community in a different way. So that's what we're going to do. So I don't know when that'll be, Tracy, but as soon as I know, you'll know. Okay? Thanks for asking.
And then
And
are we going to have a channel from the Star Mothers?
I saw that.
Oh, and then
Oh, this is interesting what Deborah said. You can have your sixth density higher self channel by Sam the Illusionist on YouTube. Okay. That might appeal to some people.
I tell you, Missy has got a lot of good questions. But a couple of
Does
things before we address Missy and we do a channel. Um,
yeah.
Margarita is asking if the next Lemurian course will be separate or should be within the Shamanic Teaching World Teachings membership. And the answer to that one is it is part of the Shamanic Teaching Wheel membership. So if you're already a member of the Shamanic Teaching Wheel, you will receive the next We Are the Next Lemurian course as part of your membership.
And as always, you can buy, not as always, but with the Dragon course and this course, you can buy the whole course outright and then come to the live meetings, take the course whenever you want, and you'll always own the course. If you're a member, you get it parceled out 1 week at a time, as you know, you would in the course, but you don't own it. You are part of the membership, which will be ongoing forever.
Right.
Well,
So
this is next. Deborah said the Pleiadian High Council asked us to imagine 1111 vortex of life coming into our crown chakra through all of our chakras into Gaia. Facebook will not survive soon. Well, we'll do something else. Okay, so Margarita, and
can I just touch on the Shamanic Teaching Wheel membership a little bit more?
yes, please.
As a member of the Shamanic Teaching Wheel, which we're going to rename in January, we just don't have a new name yet, you get access to all of our courses. It's not just the Shamanic Teaching Wheel. You get access to the Dragon course, you get access to the Next Lemuria, the Sacred Sexuality classes, all of those goodies as a member, and that's the difference.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying that, Jenny. We've grown and expanded so much that the Shamanic Teaching Wheel membership name doesn't really, take in everything else. So we're going to change the name, but everything, we'll keep adding to that. And if you're a member, you're a member, and it includes all of that to be doing. Oh, thank you, Tracy. And Deborah, I don't know what Nisara is about, but Facebook, there'll always be something. We have lots of other options beside Facebook. The Star Mothers have been poking me to say, you've collected these 8,000 women and you're not serving them. let's start talking about Lemuria on that page. Okay. So I'll be doing that. Is there anything else?
Missy had a little bit of a guidance question. When we want to know something and know our decisions are right, maybe that's a good question to address in one of the first Facebook groups that you do.
Yeah, I like that. Thank you, Missy. Yeah. Yeah, because it's hard or not impossible, but it can be challenging to know if what you're being influenced by when you're making your decision. But we always know in our heart and in our belly or wherever you know it, in your chills or your DNA or how you feel it. And then the mind goes, wait, but wait, but wait. So how do we bypass that? Or how do we say, okay, I know you're afraid and I know you had a bad experience back in 1850, as Missy said, I think, but it's now, I got this. I'm trained for this. I've been training for this for, thousands of years. And what's the worst that could happen? You're not going to die, right? And we're going to die anyway, but we're not going to die from that, probably. So celebrate that you need to do something different and move on. And come to our group and say, boy, I really blew it. I thought I was listening to myself. And there'll be a lot of support for you because there'll be other people. We've all done that. It seemed like a good idea at the time, right? Famous last words. But as we keep leaving behind the old energy and move into the Aquarian age, the age of light, the age of truth, the Sat Yuga from the Kali Yuga, we're really learning that we can trust that. And if you don't trust it, ask somebody you do trust. Say, hey, can I bounce this off you? What do you think? And chances are you'll come up with your own decision as the words come out of your mouth. Have you had that happen to you? That when you're just talking about it out loud, you get more clarity. And when you try to describe it to someone else and you feel, oh yeah, okay, thank you for listening. So yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? Christy, any advice for navigating a very dense 3D experience while honoring your own needs? Ooh, girl. Yeah, that's a lovely way of saying it about your children and your husband who vibrate differently. So we know that we choose everything, right? We have a contract to be with the people that we're with. And having been in relationships with people who definitely vibrated differently and are no longer in my life, it's a challenge. It's really a challenge. And you ask yourself, why would I choose this? Why would I choose this? Why didn't I just choose like parents and, a husband or children that were really, we were just one big happy high vibration thing? That is a question between you and your Akash. But what I can tell you is that in retrospect, and this is a little personal tidbit, my ex husband, who's the father of my son, who's no longer in the physical, and his my son's stepmother and I were sitting around one day after he had passed, and we were talking about how deeply he affected all of our lives. Ay, ay, ay. But what we learned by being affected like that. And it was so much, so much. And it might help for you to ask yourself that. And I know it means you've got to step outside of your daily self and think, okay, what is this here to teach me about me? Or what kind of light can I be for them? I mean, and that's not said with spiritual ego, like I'm vibrating higher and I'm a light and I'm just going to, drench them in my light, which is a great idea. But because you're there, you're together, love each other. Love. Love is the common denominator. And even though people see things or have a different interpretation of love, at its core, love is love, pure love, true love, spiritual love, existential love. And that you asked such a beautiful question that I know that you have love for these people who are vibrating differently. And of course, they love you. They love you. Just take care of yourself. I think that's, number one in all of that. Take care of yourself and your light. Thanks for that question, honey. Mm.
That's it so far.
Okay. Okay. So, shall we have a little message from the Star Mothers? I think it's time. I think they're ready. I think I'm ready. Okay, let's come back into that place. You've gotten a lot of information. You may have your mind going, I don't believe that. I believe that. I want to do this. I don't want to do that. I hope she hurries up. Oh, I want this to last. All that stuff. So, all of it's okay. Just say thank you. Now I want to step into a quiet space. And then just take a breath so you can do that. And let that breath ground you into the earth. Feel the crystalline grid underneath. And let the crystalline grid really begin to connect you with your own crystalline vibration, your own evolving crystalline human self. Saying yes, we like this. This is time. It is time for us. And we invite the Star Mothers and now the star fathers and any other star beings to step into this sacred circle, hold the space, or give us your message. Whatever you feel is right for this moment, for these beautiful souls who are here together, saying yes to the next Lemuria. Hello, sweet, delightful beings, beings of light, beings of purpose, and we know you are here quite purposefully, and we know each soul. We're taking inventory. Excuse us a moment. Each soul here has had time in Lemuria and other advanced places in the cosmos. It is never a mistake that you are here together. You are called. We know who you are. We see who you are. We see the little field around you vibrating. It's quite beautiful that there are so many of you who are already aware of your crystalline selves and that are being in this energy that allows you to expand that, because it's like having permission to be your higher vibrating self. And isn't that wonderful? And again, when the star mothers speak, that is who tells you about your community and the vibration that is created in your community, and how to increase that, hold it, expand it, just by being in community. We know that if you listen inside a piano where all the strings are and you hit one note, you know that all of the strings around it are vibrating. And it's the same with you. You are that instrument, that beautiful instrument of light, vibrating together in each other's awareness, consciousness. We keep feeling that, and we keep understanding that, and we keep sending that to you as a way of being on the earth, as she, your beautiful Gaia, goes through her transition and transformation. And many of you are working to clear her fields and her ley lines, and to her oceans and her lands and forests as the climate changes. All of these things will be helped by your awareness of your crystalline vibration. And as you asked this question earlier, this is what will reflect in your relationships, is you holding a more pure crystalline vibration. And the people around you are influenced by that in a very good way. How delightful is that? So imagine, if you will, as you envision yourself becoming more crystalline all the time, imagine that how that will influence your day-to-day life, how that will help you in your dealing with running your 3D life. How will that change? How will that change how you do that? That's a great mystery to unfold and see how that will change for you, because we know that all of you are supported by all of the many of us, and that when you say yes to this, we hear that. And every time another one says yes, or perhaps you say yes one day and you forget the next, and then you say yes again, there's a shift in the field, and we feel that. And when we feel that, we're holding that higher vibration with you and for you as you continue to embody it, in soul it, in spirit it. All of those things are happening at once as you keep saying yes to that new crystalline vibration and the heaven on earth that you are becoming. And we know, we feel that there may be many of you who are wondering, well, it doesn't look like heaven on earth out there. How can that be? But consider that you are in contact with each other right now where you weren't, say, 10 years ago, or 5 years ago, or last week, if this is your first time here. So it is working, it is changing. And as many are saying, the light is winning. You're moving from Homo sapiens to Homo luminous, or Homo divinicus, or whatever. Whatever you want to put with it. If it has Crystalline there or Lemurian, that's great. But let yourself be loved through this process. Just let yourself be loved. There are many of you who have been caretakers for others all of their lives. We feel that. We feel that. And this collective acknowledges the great service you've done for so many. And you continue to do it, but now you do it by doing something for yourself. That's a twist, a plot twist, isn't it? That caring for others looks differently now. It starts by caring for yourself. And it starts by really activating this crystal that you are, this crystal vessel that your DNA walks around in, that connects with your friends and neighbors. That's where it starts. That's where it changes. And that's what you will be having in the next Lemuria. So we are very excited about this process when we are asking our vessel, Meleha, to please get plenty of rest, plenty of sleep, plenty of outdoor air, plenty of support, so that this information can come through for the next generation, for the generation that is here, and for all of you that are called to be creators of the next Lemuria. We thank you. We feel your hearts. And from our hearts, we send that love, that physical love and that divine love. As a collective, we ask you, as we finish, to continue to open to knowing yourself, the true you, beyond the programs, beyond the fears, beyond the I should and I better. Know that being of light that you are. For she and he are exquisite masters. And for that, we all thank you. We finish now. And we thank you and look forward to our next meeting with you. Take a breath. Hmm. 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 When you're ready, open your eyes. Take a stretch. Oh, that was a lot of information in a short amount of time. I'm so happy. I've been waiting and waiting for all of this. It hasn't been that long, but it feels like so much has been coming through that I was really happy and ready to share it with you. Yeah. You're welcome, Saroni. Thank you for being here, all of you. So, Jenny, can you talk about our secret special offer?
Oh, so I did post the link already in the chat and I can put it there again. But our secret special offer is that we're offering the We Are the Next Lemurian course at $333. That's for all 4 parts of the course. And again, if you're already a member of the Shamanic Teaching Wheel, you get that as part of your membership. And
But the course, go ahead, I'm sorry, honey.
This is the only time that we'll ever offer the course itself at this price because we just wanted to. I don't have an answer to that.
Yeah. Because we love you and it's fun and we're together. Yeah. So if you feel drawn to buying the course, we're just doing that for 10 days. And then, but if you're a member, you're going to get it anyway and you can become a member. Okie dokie. Jenny, would you put on the gallery view so I could see everybody while we say goodbye? Yeah. Please. Thank you. Lots of faces. Yay. Thank you all for being here. I have to go to the net and then we have another page. And another page of people. There's Margaret. Hi, honey. And Karita. I don't see everybody's face, but it's wonderful to see your names and know there's some new ones here. Thanks for joining me tonight. Here in the beautiful desert, we're finally having a real delightful winter in the desert. Yeah. Who's Google Talking Dog? That's so cute. Oh, all right, my darlings. Thank you all for spending this time with me. It's really delightful to see you all, those of you I know and those who I don't know that I get to see for the first time. Yay. Kiva, you haven't been here before, right? I would remember a name like Kiva. Yeah. All right. And I look forward to seeing you the next time. Till then, love yourself, love yourself, love yourself, right? Bye, everybody.